So man, how's it going?
Yeah.
Nice. So, over the past few weeks that I've been making videos, I've been reading all of the comments. A lot of you are very supportive, and for that, I thank you. One thing that is common across all of these videos, and I'm sure across every other gaming YouTuber's channels as well, are questions related to the game. Now, I try my best to answer them as soon as I can and to give any advice that I can, but some of them do need a bit more explaining. There are also people who ask me to make videos about things that would only really take a minute to explain, and so making my one video for that week a 1-minute video just doesn't feel right. That's where this video comes in. I put it to my Discord to come up with any questions they may have about the game and to ask them freely. I also let them ask questions about me in case they were interested. We then set up a one-on-one voice chat in my Discord where I could bring players into the chat and they'd have a chance to ask me, well, anything really. Sadly, because of the time zone difference, we only got a few people into the voice chat segment, but then I read all of the comments and continued on to read my YouTube comments as well. This idea was inspired by KSI's One Question Go series, but it's also a good way to answer a lot of questions that can be explained better than if I were to try to reply to your comment with a long answer. If you get bored of seeing my face, I've provided you with some 2v2 gameplay in the background, as I know a few of you have been asking for that to come back as well. Stick around to the end and you might find the answer to one of your questions in my recent videos. Also, head over and join the Discord to be involved with videos like this in the near future. Okay, let's start off with the one-on-one questions.
I have this problem where I just stay back, I just always stay back all the time. Then my teammates they tell me that I'm really passive and I should move up more.
Right.
How do I counter the awkwardness and the non-confidence,
I guess in order to feel comfortable playing further up the field, you have to rely on your teammates having good rotations and positioning. Okay, if there's someone behind you, you're safe to challenge 90% of the time. If you see your teammate is rotating behind you and you know in about a second he'll be in a position where if the ball goes over you or if you lose the challenge, that your teammate will be in a good position to challenge anyway. So in those situations, you kind of just need to say, if I don't challenge it, they're going to have time on the ball to set something up. When you're getting used to that, it is a lot of it is just, I'm going to challenge straight away. Whether we win or lose the challenge, someone is there to back me up. The question was, how do you learn how to see what playstyle your teammates and opponents have, and how do you adjust to them?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that one, that comes down to the first 30 seconds of the game. I tend to play quite defensively, or I won't take anything too risky because I'm not quite sure the defensive capabilities of my teammate or the offensive capabilities of my opponents. Reading your opponent's rotations is pretty hard because you got to focus on obviously your teammate, the ball, whether or not they can score, but also if they're positioning correctly. And so I find an easy way to do it is watch one of them the entire time, and if they always seem to be in the right position, it's probably because their teammates are also in the right position, which means they're rotating pretty well. It's a lot to take in. It's a very hard 30 seconds because you're trying to analyze 3 different players at once, while also trying to adjust your own game style to it. But playing defensive and just kind of watching and keeping track, and anytime they do get the ball, if your teammate doesn't pressure them, and if your teammate's behind you, always pressure them immediately and just watch to see how they react. Watch your opponent instead of the ball, because you get to a point where you know what the ball's going to do and how it reacts to the car, but your opponent is the variable there, so you need to watch what they're doing and react to their movements and the way they are playing the game instead of watching the ball the entire time. Yo, how's it going, man?
Mike's not turned up.
How I better my aerial car control is actually the most recent video I did, which I'll link in the description for you. But essentially, I have a routine that I do once a day or once every 2 days. I just go over it, and it helps me to keep on track of my helps me to keep on track of my aerial control and just overall control of my car. Training effectively is a very touch and go question, I guess. It really comes down to what you want to train. So essentially, as a whole, training effectively is just picking one thing you want to train and drilling it. If you really want to work on flip resets like I'm doing right now, I just dedicate 3 hours, 4 hours a day and I drill it hard. Not everyone has that kind of time. I know I got comments saying I can only play once every 4 days, and so that's fine, but do find some time when you do have time to play to just work on a certain thing that you do want to work on, something you want to improve in your gameplay. Just drill that one thing. Isolate a certain section of time and just work on that one thing. There are a few different things you can do. You can kind of switch. Some people like to say you reset in training, where you just go into free play, something, knock the ball around to get yourself out of that mindset of trying to win, or like just focusing so hard on that winning mentality. You just take a break, go into a custom training pack, and just like drill some shots. Sometimes if I lose a few games in a row and I'm kind of like getting a little bit tilted, you can essentially, before you get to the point you get a little bit too tilted, take a break. It can be like an hour break and then come back into it, go into some training and then straight back into ranked. Or it can be like a day. Like I know that I sometimes will take 2 days off if I'm not playing very well at all, and I like D-rank a whole like 100 MMR. I'll take like a day off because I was like, I'll go edit because I have other stuff to do around the game that kind of keeps me involved in the game. But honestly, I just watch a lot of YouTube content. Like I take in a lot of the game when I'm not playing it, so that kind of always keeps me in the mindset, which sounds really like try hard now that I say it out loud. But yeah, I'm always around this game kind of thing. You can just like take a break and go outside if need be. So I would say if like you're just getting into the game, logging in for the first time that day, spend at least 10 minutes, like at the very, very least. I tend to spend 20 minutes when I start. I'll spend 20 minutes in free play. I'll just go over a bunch of different things. I'll do a custom training map. I like to change it up every day. And then I go into ranked. If you're in between games, just play free play or do a custom training pack. Honestly, like there's no set amount of time you should be putting into free play, but I would say as long as you're putting some time into free play, you're benefiting yourself long term. Time commitment rank doesn't really work. Everyone goes at their own pace. Like you might peak early and then hit a wall at some point, or you might be a slow learner and then get there over time. Everyone works differently and it's not really something you can compare. And I've seen a lot of people try to be like, is this amount of hours good? Like I just need to know if I'm playing at a good speed. It's like, well, everyone works differently. I was a very slow start and then I kind of went up a bit faster at the end. But some people might be the complete opposite, and it's not whether or not this is good or bad, it's just how you're playing and how you're progressing. Hey, I'm Silver 3 and I'm actually really good, but I never have time to play long periods of time, so I've never warmed up going into matches. Any tips? The thing with questions like this is I don't know how you play, and like when you ask people like this on YouTube, and there's like no offense or like nothing like that to anyone, but when you say, hey, I'm this rank, how can I improve? I don't know your strengths and weaknesses. In this one I can say maybe try a mini warm-up, because if you don't feel like you're warmed up, then warm up. But like if you don't have the time to warm up, then it's not a case of, oh, I don't feel warmed up, it's just I don't have time. And I can't really say do this one thing and you'll feel warmed up. It's like you just warm up, or you go into it not warmed up and you just play a few games. But yeah, when you ask people things like, I am this rank, how do I improve? You need to remember they have no idea how you play. Like, you could be the smartest player, the most well-positioned player, but your mechanics are just not there. Or you could be the most mechanically gifted player on the planet, but your positioning is the worst. And like, no one knows how you play except you and people who have seen you play. And because we haven't seen you play, me, myself, YouTubers, haven't seen specifically you playing, we cannot give specific advice. I can give general advice, like you should go into free play and work on XX and blah blah blah, but I cannot give specific advice to your gameplay. I can give rank advice based on what I kind of know about that rank, but what I say might not specifically work with you. I'm gold 2 and I believe I'm low diamond caliber, and I feel like it's my teammates that are dragging me down. Any tips? So I get a lot of questions saying, hey, I'm X rank and I believe I should be higher, but it's my teammates, blah blah blah. Honestly, this kind of mindset doesn't really help you out, just because you're putting a lot of blame on your teammates. You're not really taking any responsibility on yourself. So what I suggest is going over games where you lose and you think it's your teammates' fault, and then going through the replay and looking at things you could have done better, because there is legitimately always something you could be doing. Like, if you say, okay, but like my teammate should have saved this, you can always look back and say, where was I in this position and could I have gotten back a bit quicker to put my teammate in a better situation? There's a lot you can do that you blank out because you automatically blame your teammates when things go wrong. So just find a way to look over your replays and figure out what aspects of the game you could have improved on instead of blaming on your teammates, because the one thing you can control in Rocket League is you and your car and your decisions. You can't control your teammates, you can't control your opponents. And so you want to become the best at being able to control yourself and your car and your movements, your prediction, your mentality. If you can get the best out of all of that, you're going to improve yourself. You can't be relying on teammates to get you better or to like increase your rank or anything. You need to go into this 100% looking to improve yourself. Don't make any excuses about your teammates. Just look to say, what can I do better next time and where did I go wrong? I'm 22. How do I get your haircut? I cut the sides quite short and then I leave it all to grow. So the top is quite long, I guess. Yeah, down to my chin, and then the sides are quite short. So I don't know, man. Like cut the sides, cut the sides short, leave the top long, let it grow out.
Who is your favorite professional player in Rocket League?
Favorite professional? I would say it's either Justin or Flex. I've been watching a lot of Flex recently, and I really like enjoyed his streams.
Who is your favorite team?
Yeah, so it's probably Barcelona. What are the chances for me to be in a video? You might not see it at first. It may take a few weeks to get there. There's a fly.
Hello.
Oh my god.
I got a question.
Yeah, shoot, go for it.
What are you getting me for my birthday? Alright, another question. If you could go to one country right now, where would you go?
France.
Would you take your brother?
No.